Workplace violence is on a spectrum. It's a spectrum of behavior. And so at the broadest sense, on the far left-hand side of that spectrum, you've got behaviors of concern. This is before people get hurt. Then as you go up, workplace violence includes those behaviors that are causing physical injury or potentially even death. Now, if we recognize that's the spectrum of behavior we need to be mindful of, now we can put a program into place as an organization that gets in front of each of these different considerations. Here's what I mean. Have a policy that is based upon a no threats, no violence type of workplace. Indicate the kinds of unacceptable behaviors that your organization is going to have. What is that disciplinary process if somebody does go beyond those behaviors, if they violate that policy of unacceptable behavior? But when these behaviors are recognized, how do people report those sorts of things? All of these kinds of things we want in a policy, because that creates the framework as an organization of how we get in front of all of this. Workplace violence can be prevented, but also we need to have mechanisms for response, so we built protocols for that. And then, of course, if it does occur, there's that recovery process as well. So we're looking at each of these different layers from a programmatic standpoint. Then we want to have different layers of training throughout the organization. We want everybody in the organization to be trained on what behaviors to be mindful of, what to report, how to report, who to report to, how to respond to potential emergencies. We want leaders to be able to identify better and communicate better what these things are from their perspective. They might be the first to receive a report. And then, of course, when threats occur, we want to have a mechanism in place to identify threats, receive those threats, and assess those threats so that they can adequately be managed to facilitate that prevention process. It's a whole comprehensive process that even includes other peripheral things. How do you hire people? How do you treat people while they're there? What are the separations? So there's a lot that goes into it. But in a nutshell, you look at that spectrum of violence, behaviors of concern, threatening behaviors, those behaviors that cause physical injury, and those behaviors that might lead to potential death, and identify how you can get in front of each from a prevention, response, and recovery perspective.